Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Emily. It has been a hot minute, as they say, since the last vlog. I even filmed a little catch-up video in November and then started a new vlog and just didn't. You can go watch the catch-up video if you want, but I'm finally doing some stuff. Well, I've been doing stuff. I'm finally doing some like vlog-worthy content, aka I'm getting back into writing finally after a very long time. Been a year. So I had a lot of speculations in that catch-up video on what I was going to do, and apparently I was not yet ready to actually dive back into what I was trying to dive back into. But I think I am now, and I miss vlogging, so the Snoopy mug has returned. That was actually the last of the coffee. As far as writing goes, it's very simple on what I'm working on right now. Last year, I wrote a little novella that was like 24,000 words. It was Project Thistle. I didn't like the way it turned out. I reread it. I set it aside. I just didn't touch it. I wrote it like this time last year. By January, it was in the pile. Wasn't touching it. I pulled it back out, looked at it, read it, figured out that the voice of the character was a big problem. That was actually the main problem. Added in a plot line to, I think, make the story feel more rounded out, and I'm rewriting it. I wrote 1,700 words on it yesterday, which is the most I've written in a very long time. I actually don't want to know how long of a time it's been, but back in November I did rewrite 2,700 words of it, the first 2,700 words, and yesterday 1,700 words. I want to do that by the end of the year. That seems reasonable, you know, considering a good 80% of it I'm looking at the old document while I'm writing it, and I'm rewriting most of it, but I'm changing it little bits at a time. And other than a pretty substantial, what is this email? Oh, never mind. Other than a pretty substantial like plot line that's getting added in, it's gonna be mostly the same, just better written. I had the character's voice entirely wrong for who she is, so that's what we're doing with that. I don't remember what I've told you guys because the last time I vlogged was in August. It's Monday, December 2nd, by the way. I'm gonna try to briefly catch you up on everything. I realize that the phrase briefly catch you guys up on stuff is pretty hilarious considering the amount I ramble on, but well, I'm gonna try. First off, this has nothing to do with anything, but I wanted to show you. I used to bullet journal a lot, and I got out of the habit of doing it this last year, and I feel the need to return to bullet journaling, except I got a pre-made planner this time around. I got the Sterling Ink Common Planner. I got one of the like discounted damaged copies, and I honestly can't tell the difference. Well, there's a little ding in the corner, but it is such a pretty color. Oh my gosh. I love this color, and it's got the gold foil. And it's just, you know, it's got everything pre-done, and it's got a lot of like goals sections up at the front I'm gonna have to go through for next year, and it's got like calendars and stuff that I'll probably use minimally, but the part I like the most about it, for every week it has these like time blocking goals sections, which I've been wanting to get back to, like time blocking stuff. I did that in university a lot, and it was good to look back on and good to keep me on track, and this is perfect. And it's got that for every week of the year, and then it's also got just a ton of blank well, it's gridded pages, so I can actually stop shaking the camera, so I can actually write in a straight line. So it's so floppy, I love it. So, and I ordered stickers. I'm about halfway through Nightfallen fulfillment. I just got the foiled comics the other day. It took an abhorrent amount of time to get all this worked out, but we finally got the foiled comics. So I have like 30 or 40 packages downstairs ready to go to the post office, which is not all of them, but ready to go to the post office, and so I'm about to look like a crazy person just hauling in a massive trash bag full of packages. At least not my local post office, because I think they're scared of me. The post office in town that's a lot bigger, it has like bins you can come in and drop stuff off in. But so we're getting there on that. Every single printer that has ever existed is out to get me. Except R.R. Donnelly. I don't know if they're out to get me yet. That's the special edition printer that Merrick Books is going to use. They seem like they know what they're doing. But Ingram Spark has been screwing me over on so many ways. Maybe I'll explain it to you later. I don't feel like it right now, genuinely. I hate Ingram Spark. They're the only one that does like everything I want, and I hate them. You know, it took me forever for Mixam, I guess is how you pronounce the printer, to like get me these. They stopped offering proof copies of foiled copies that weren't like $300. But luckily, everything's fine. Book Vault screwed up my proof copies of the hardcovers of all the woods that I'm doing for like the little backer kit campaign. The EU has new regulations on selling things that makes it like impossibly expensive, and I have like 30 EU backers for The Wind in the Wild that won't get their books until after these regulations come into play. So I'm emailing Merrick Books like, do you know what we're supposed to do? Because I sure as hell don't. That's not that big a deal, but it's just another thing that's like, oh yeah, I've got audiobook auditions up for The Wind in the Wild too. I'm trying to do duet narration, which is not dual narration, duet narration, which is like, you know, there's one main character's first person point of view, and so there's a female narrator for it, but then a male narrator does all the male pieces of dialogue, which is really cool in concept. I've listened to quite a few samples that made me want to shrivel up and die, but I feel like that's because most of the samples were like dark mafia romance. And listen, I'm not against dark mafia romance, but I can't with the audiobooks. Point is, I would love that. If I could actually get two narrators that sound the way Neve and Aiden sound in my brain, that would be amazing. Do I think it's gonna happen? No, but you know, I put a note on the audition. It's like, hey, if you got a team, send me an audition. Paperback of The Wind in the Wild, the new like resized version. I got the hardcover from Ingram Spark. It came without the dust jacket. But it looks fine, and I proofread it, and it's amazing the typos you will still find after this many amount of read-throughs and an editor and several beta read. I have no one else to say this to because none of my friends have finished watching the show. I finished watching the second season of Arcane. First of all, that show is the first thing I have been truly invested in since my days of watching Marvel. Most books annoy me, most TV shows annoy me, most movies annoy me, and I was truly invested and enjoyed that show. Was it perfect? I could give you a small dissertation on the pacing and some of the character choices on season 2, but the most important things were nailed as far as I'm concerned, so none of those problems actually bothered me enough that it changed my opinion on the show. It cost like $250 million to make, apparently. It's like the most expensive animated TV show ever. Can I have $250 million to have a show in that style, please? Anybody have a spare $250 million you can hand me real quick? Anyway, oh yeah, you want to see one more funny thing about Ingram Spark? This is not even the thing that made me the most angry. But I got In Dying Starlight 9, the novella printed, and I'm not showing you the cover yet because, spoilers. I'm covering it up with my notebook. This is how it came to me. Like, I'll show you a little bit of the cover. This is a white bar. It printed like a whole ½ inch off center. Like the spine, using this as an example, the spine of where it should be is like right here. And they just sent it to me like that. Point is, Ingram Spark is on my naughty list. I was gonna say something with more swearing involved. No swearing. I think that catches you up a lot. That wasn't brief, but oh, what do you expect? Alright, so if I've forgotten anything, I'll tell you in the next clip. But the main writing thing is, we want to get Assassin rewritten so that I can have that published next year. And after I rewrite that, I'm going to Thistle. Thistle is the next thing on the list. I fully plan on dedicating my life for the next, probably year to Thistle. that series is getting written. But Assassin first. Small amount of updates. It's Friday, December 6th. I'm definitely still not in the habit of vlogging again. I'm also not in the habit of doing social media anymore, clearly. What I said about Arcane in the last clip, a couple months ago, I actually did a fan edit of Arcane and uploaded it on Instagram. And it took off right about like a couple weeks before season 2 started coming out. It is my highest viewed anything ever. It's at 1.8 million views on an Arcane fan edit. I could use that for The Wind in the Wild, but... Okay, so I got the next set of proofs on the way for The Wind in the Wild. The paperback's coming again, and I had another issue with the hardcover. Is the hardcover updated yet? Is it? Is it? Is it? Oh yeah, there it is, waiting approval. Cool, so I can get that ordered today too. And we're just getting the cover set up with R.R. Donnelly, Merrick Books. I'm gonna try not to confuse you guys. Merrick Books uses R.R. Donnelly as a printer, and they're like a middleman, and they can get me deals on shipping and stuff like that. So either or. It's probably gonna take some time. I've got audiobook auditions up. I gotta be really honest. I'm probably not gonna do audiobooks again. It is a more and more painful experience every time for me. I don't like it, and it costs a lot of money. And so far my like stats on audiobooks, oof, I wouldn't even want to check. Oh my gosh. I think Under the Earth has about earned out on the audiobook after years. The Sea at the End of Everything definitely did not earn out. The Wind in the Wild, if it earns out greatly, you know, if I make a ton of money off the audiobook, maybe I'll continue to do it. This is the genre to hopefully make money on an audiobook, fantasy romance. Even though I can technically afford to pay for it because of the Kickstarter, basically I'm taking a huge chunk out of my profit, my income, in order to make a thing that will probably not earn out, which is stupid. And I keep doing it because, you know, it feels like a business expense or a business investment, and at this point it's just not, I think. I did promise it for The Wind in the Wild, so I am doing it, but I dislike everything about the process. I got 30 auditions or 35 auditions so far. I bumped up the price range, and I'm waiting for it to reapprove because it became very clear that the price range I had it set at, which was a little bit cheaper than usual, wasn't gonna work for me. I mean no disrespect to any narrators who applied. There were some fairly good ones. I don't... How do I say this without being mean? Because I'm not trying to be mean. I'm iffy on listening to audiobooks to begin with because I have to like connect with the narrator's voice narrating the story. And then on top of that, I don't like listening to my own books. Even like Ryan, who did Under the Earth, amazing, just top tier. I still, when I was listening to it, was like, you know, because I'm listening to somebody narrate my own book, I hate it. Just at a basic level of listening to my own book, despise that. Yee. And I feel better because I saw somebody in one of my Discord groups, several authors, talk about how they have audiobooks published with actual publishers, so the publisher is handling it, and they have never listened to their own audiobook all the way through. So I feel vindicated. Not vindicated, but like, I feel understood. Point is, I don't like it to begin with. So, and then I have very particular ideas about how I think the characters should sound on top of that. So 95% of auditions I get just make me go, I can't. Don't get me wrong, some auditions are bad. You are gonna get auditions that are bad. Most of them are at least pretty good. I just can't stand and it's 90% a me thing, but sometimes it isn't a me thing, you know? I found a guy who would do the perfect voice for Aiden. Just in every way. It just sounds He has an Irish accent, which I was not planning on this book, but this is vaguely Irish-inspired fairies, so would be fine, would be great, but he's too expensive. I'm thinking about messaging him and asking if he'd be willing to do a book for cheaper, and if he has like a female narration partner he's worked with before. I'm thinking about it, because, you know, couldn't hurt to ask. I wrote another 300 words over the last couple of days. I'm slow. I did not expect to take off on this, to be clear. I'm slow. So, but as long as I get that novella finished this month, I think I have figured out, been able to sum up in words finally what my problem was with that story, and I think I didn't dig far enough into like what that character's past trauma was. I did, but she was a little bit too cold about it. It's difficult writing a character who, the way I want to write her, which is, number one, she is an assassin, has been raised this way, is, as a person, kind of cold and standoffish, but also has some, like, motherly / big sister instincts towards this job that she has, which is transporting a kid. Because, of course, that's the plot line of one of my books. Just shut up. And trying to balance those two things realistically and reasonably is very difficult to do, to begin with, because I like shooting myself in the foot when I'm writing books, clearly. That is one of the things that I needed to improve upon, and also I needed more emotional impact at the end of the story, which is what I think, because I was looking at this, I was looking at, you know, the last draft of this novella that I wrote last year, and I'm going, this is perfectly fine, but it doesn't hold up to my other books, and I couldn't figure out why, you know? It feels like a slight letdown compared to my other books. I think that's what it was. I have the hiccups. That's the main goal. Is I think the plot is okay. There's some things I'm adding to it that'll make it good, but like it's okay. It needs more emotional depth, I think, is the problem. I have stuff to do. I'm actually right in the middle of packaging up comics. I'm so close to being done with that. It is Wednesday, December 11th. Actually in the middle of packaging comics, just wanted to pop on here and say I finally had a good writing day. For the first time in months, I wrote 2,500 words on Project Thistle, and it was one of those where I had to like sit and stare at it for like 2 hours, slowly typing up like a sentence or two, and then like checking one of my writing servers on Discord and typing up a sentence or two and writing and checking Discord and back and forth for ages until I finally got into the swing of things and ended up writing 2,500 words, enjoying it, and I've gotten to the part where like the main difference in plot, it's gonna diverge a little bit now, finally. So yeah. Am I thinking of like 5 other long series I could be writing? Yeah. We're not gonna talk about that. Hello. That's too zoomed in. It's Friday, December 13th. I am thinking of books I shouldn't be thinking about. Also, I've got a nice little system I've started with the planner, including slapping stickers everywhere in it, because I got a ton of stickers off Etsy. I got this in the mail yesterday, so I've decided we read this one more time. This should be the final copy of, this is the paperback, because Ingram Spark, the hardcover will get here eventually, but I had already done the final proofread on this, but I figured before I, you know, order the final copies, do one more proofread. So, I don't want to. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna start doing that today. Yesterday I wrote 1,000 words on Project Thistle, and the day before that 1,300 words. Write Assassin, proofread this, think about what other bad decision I'm gonna make as far as writing something alongside Thistle goes. I don't know, when I start writing Thistle, I might just realize that that is as much as I can write at one time. So clearly, don't actually listen to anything I say until I'm like 20 or 30,000 words into a book, because at that point, I'll probably actually be writing it. Okay, well, camera's at 15%. What's new? Keep this short and sweet. It's Monday, December 16th. End of the year. I did not proofread this over the weekend like I was going to, but I did write on the Assassin novella. 600 words on Sunday and 2,000 words on Saturday. I'm probably gonna try to write again today, but like, unfortunately, this is the priority. I'm this close to being done with packaging the comics. I'm gonna go downstairs and do that today. I left the ones that I'm gonna have to dig through my collection of boxes to try to find one big enough, so I left the big orders. 3, 4, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 packages left. That's it. So this week's trip to the post office will be the last one for a little while until in January I get all the copies of All the Woods. So yeah, I think that's where we're at. I'm feeling much better about this version of Project Assassin now. I'm really enjoying the rewrite of it. But I'm also looking forward to writing Thistle. I was showing my friend last night my plans for next year, and she was like, oh my god, how did you go from not wanting to write Thistle to wanting to write like the whole series in a year? And I'm like, it occurred to me, it's been a year and a half since I wrote book 1. I don't like that. But yeah, I have come up with a lot of good stuff. Do I have book 1 fully outlined? No. I should probably do that. Feeling pretty good about Project Assassin. It's at 14,000 words right now, and I'm estimating 25,000 to 30,000 words. I'm gonna charge my camera, make a TikTok, package some comics, read this again. Don't mind my stack of books back there. It's Friday, December 20th. When I was trying to figure out if I could rewrite words. When I was trying to figure out how I could rewrite Assassin before the end of the year, I had forgotten to take into the account this proofreading one more time. So actually I don't know if I'll finish that this month because my drafting is slow. I have like picked out 3 things to correct, but they're little like formatting things that aren't even like super necessary, but I'm gonna try to get through a ton of this. It's Friday, I'm giving myself, I want to try to finish it by Sunday, so like Monday I can start again on Assassin. I'm so tired of it, but still, like the little cute flirty scenes in the beginning when they've just met each other, it's still really cute. It's still really cute. It still makes me smile. I'd rather not be reading this, but it still makes me smile. So that's good, you know. Am I just continuously rambling to the camera right now? Because if I stop, I have to do this? Yeah. Okay. It's Monday, December 23rd. It's almost Christmas. I have some lights up. Not that you can see them very much. It's too bright out. So I'm getting through a lot of stuff today. Main thing is I have this much to go. The printer doesn't need the interior file for a while because they do a proof of just the cover first. I have a vague memory from university where they talked about, well, there was a lot of printing classes, but like specifically bookbinding and stuff, and I have a vague recollection of why they do that, but I couldn't articulate it for you. So yeah, I'm doing this morning is first order of business, send it to my proofreader, fix the few errors, send out the ebook. I got a bunch of stuff I'm doing for the book box level for the Kickstarter. I'm ordering a bunch of the final items and gonna get them in before the end of the year. But yeah, after I finish this, I can go back to drafting. I was thinking that's my reward for Christmas. I get to go back to actually drafting something. The Assassin novella is what I'm gonna be drafting, but I doubt now that I will finish that by December, but I'm not gonna try that hard. I'm gonna do as much as I'm comfortable doing because I'm still kind of iffy on the drafting, and I don't want to. This is the rewrite. I don't want to mess anything up. Sometime before the end of December or in early January, I need to film a goals video, but I don't know when I'm going to do that. Alright, it's Thursday, January 2nd, 2025. I am going to film a little end of the year and 2025 goals video, so I'll talk about like my word counts for the year and stuff. I wrote 500 words on the last day of the month, 400 words the day before. Basically, I wrote about 13,000 words in December. Not too bad, all things considered. Did I finish the novella? No. That's fine. I am 17,400 words into it. It's probably going to be 25 to 30,000 words. Not sure. I'm taking a lot of notes on things I need to edit as I go. Not edit as I go, but I'm taking notes as I go for things that I need to edit later on. New month, I will also start a new vlog. After this is done, we're on to Thistle. We are starting Project Thistle, I swear. So that's pretty much where we're at. I will try to remember, I'm doing an enamel pin campaign on BackerKit in January, and I'm doing a little vote on like the first pin to be unlocked. I'm gonna try to remember to link that in the description, and you can yell at me in the comments if I don't remember to put the link in. But yeah, I'll talk in the next video about goals, because boy do I have them. Goodbye 2024. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, giving it a thumbs up and a subscribe really helps out my channel. You can grab all my books at the links below, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!